Joining us now with his insights on the rising threat of ISIS and their Eastern European ties, and also on, in a kind of a backhanded way, the political prospects ahead for Mitt Romney, is our friend Howie Carr, the Boston Herald columnist and talk show host on WRKO Radio. Howie, we thank you for Skyping in this morning to America's Forum.
Thanks for having me, JD.
Well, we went through the video. You heard Mitt Romney saying, watch out for Russia. He was mocked. That was 2012. Now it's 2014. It seems that he was a prophet without votes in 2012. As you take a look at it today, was Romney right?
I guess, yeah, as you recall, JD, Obama's mocking reply was the 80s just called, Governor, and they want their foreign policy back. I think the 80s are now knocking even harder at the door, asking for their foreign policy back. Yes, I think Mitt Romney has been proven to be prescient. And the fact that he tried haltingly and not very successfully to make an issue of Benghazi. I mean, again, I think he was right to try to do that as badly as he handled it. I mean, you look at this new book out now, Blood Feud by Ed Klein. It says that Barack Obama knew that night that it had nothing to do with a video, the attack on the consulate, and he asked Hillary to basically take one for the team and go out and lie about it.
And of course, that's why we saw Susan Rice instead of Hillary Clinton on those Sunday talk shows. And indeed, we could go through chapter and verse of the MO of the community organizers or street agitators. But I'm interested, what happened in 2012, is it a prologue for 2016? Because, Howie, you've heard the talk, and there you are in Boston, where Mitt served as governor, given the political makeup of Massachusetts.
Right.
Will Romney mount another campaign for the presidency?
Well, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, JD, I would have said no way, 100%. Positive he's not going to run. Now I'm not so sure. I think that he is being courted by the for lack of a better term, the country club Republicans. Chris Christie doesn't seem to be coming back. They're hitting him with little things, but they're just taking his focus off the campaign. I think Jeb Bush, I'm not sure he really wanted to run in the first place, but I think this disaster down on the southern border is really playing havoc with his chances. You know, of course, you remember what he said, illegal immigration is an act of love. Well, we're seeing the act of love playing itself out on the border, and it's not very pretty. And so of the country club type Republicans, Mitt appears to be the nearest thing standing to a credible candidate left.
So let me just get this straight. If we were to establish a Republican establishment frontrunner for 2016 in the analysis of Howie Carr, that would be Mitt Romney.
I think so. What about the analysis of J.D. Hayworth? Who do you think's the frontrunner?
Well, when you have, there are a couple of things you have to keep in mind in running for the presidency, and that is to have the infrastructure on the ground and the ability to raise the funds. Now,
he can raise the money for sure.
Now, I think what Romney has to do is he has to become a little more flesh and blood if he's going to have success. And I think, the thing about Mitt, Howie, is he seems to do a 180. He was mocked for using the term self-enforcement. Well, or self-deportation for illegals. Right. There are other ways to say it, like enforce the laws and the laws will be obeyed. There are some smarter ways to say it.
Yeah.
But just personally, and I have a lot of respect for Romney, and I've heard from people that in terms of being a chairman of the board or being an executive in business, he is without parallel in terms of actually running an organization. But it seems he always checks the metrics. And it seems that now he's reversed the argument on illegal immigration, hewing back to the establishment position of, well, gee, Barack Obama had a chance to solve the problem, and he hasn't done it. And to my ears, that sounds like, here we go with the establishment amnesty plan. Let me turn it back to you.
JD, I think amnesty is not going to come back for a while now. I mean, this is what's going on with Obama and flying these illegal aliens all over the country. It's de facto amnesty. I mean, if this is what we get with de facto amnesty, imagine what we would get with full blown amnesty. I don't think that there's any stomach from the American people, Democrat or Republican, really, outside of the usual pressure groups for any kind of amnesty. I'm with you, JD. I mean, what do we need to reform the laws for? We just need to enforce the laws. I mean, what was it? Congressman Labrador said it yesterday on TV. He said it sounds harsh, but you have to start deporting these people. And I think that's what it comes down to. And I think Mitt is also a guy who relies heavily on polls, and I think he's going to see that, and he's going to see that Marco Rubio has come back a little bit, but he's basically never recovered from being a member of the Gang of Eight or an associate of the Gang of Eight, and I think Rand Paul has slipped in the polls since he's sort of offered an olive branch towards illegal aliens. I just think the Republican nominee in 2016 is going to have to be a hardliner on this.
Howie Carr, as always, we appreciate your insights. It is worth noting that the man looked back to in history as a, quote, modern or moderate Republican, Dwight Eisenhower, had a very active campaign of deportation of illegals.
Right. We can't even say the word that the operation was described at, JD, because we'd be accused of hate speech.
Well, be that as it may, it is a fact of history. The nomenclature used not hewing to the politically correct, and something we wouldn't want to do. Howie, you're covering your ears, but as always, we listen keenly for your insights. Thanks so much for Skyping in.
Thank you, JD.
You heard from Howie. What are your thoughts? Why don't you tweet them to us at Newsmax TV, #America's Forum.